Welcome, everyone, to Blood and Iron Dead Man's Hand. We are on session 44. We've been going for a while now. It's been an interesting couple of nights for the Dead Man's Hand coterie. One of the things that they have been up to is witnessing and partaking, to some degree, in a Second Inquisition heist on the University Hospital, just north of their domain. They ran into Hound Singleton there and were promptly told to leave. Shriek was watching from a vantage point of his own, but everyone in the coterie made it out alive, or existing still, if you want to be technical about it. And in the following night, Dorian found himself in front of the Venture board. The small child at the adults' table that's being overlooked until asked prompt questions and then forgotten about once again. But such is the way that the board works. And tonight, well, we're going to start with some feeding, because our coterie mates are all very hungry individuals. So first, with this new night, the moon rising, the stars twinkling in the, well, light polluted sky, let's make some rouse checks. Oh, just what we were afraid of, Aaron. You are getting a little hungrier. You're at hunger 4 today, aren't you? Shriek. Dorian. Shrink isn't any hungrier tonight, but that's a good thing. Dorian is hungrier, and you're at hunger 5. What's your hunger at, Shriek?
3.
3.
And I am surprised that one roll didn't screw me.
Yeah, we actually had a success on that one today. Good job.
I'm not at 5. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, well, Shriek may not necessarily need to go out and feed, but he might, just to keep things under control. So, let's turn first to those who are the hungriest. Dorian. You're feeding at the club, I would imagine, or are you feeding elsewhere in the domain?
I would probably be going out and picking something up and bringing it back to the house.
Okay. So you're having someone maybe ordering takeout and going to
Well, my version of takeout, I'd go and pick up someone at the local, like a local bar or something.
Okay. So in your own domain rather than at the club itself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I would do it right when I wake up.
Okay. And you're kind of approaching it from a siren perspective, am I right?
Yep.
That's going to be a charisma and subterfuge. And since you're at hunger 5, it might be a bit messy. Not a success, and you would need at least 2 more to get a success there. You can't succeed at a cost.
What's the cost?
Let me think about that for a second. Something happens at the bar the club that needs your attention tonight.
Oh, that sounds interesting. Sure.
Okay, but you still need to make a frenzy check.
Uh-huh.
It's a difficulty 4. And you succeed. Keeping it nice and easy. Clean. Yeah, since you did succeed at a cost, I'll allow it to be your feeding restriction and fall under that provision. Because normally that would add more difficulty to the roll, but well, we'll see how the rest of the night plays out. Then we have Aaron. Aaron, are you hunting tonight?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
Okay.
For anything else.
Are you calling upon any assistance from the rest of your coterie, or are you going alone?
You know, I'm gonna have to go it alone.
Go it alone? Okay. You are an extortionist.
Typically.
You leverage dirt against people and get them to do what you will. Or you just beat the shit out of them, which is sometimes how these things go.
Yeah. Can we go with the coercion route?
Coercion route? Okay. So you're going to... is that charisma and intimidation?
Strength intimidation.
Strength and intimidation. Okay.
And I get a specialty +1.
Alright. Then let's see what that looks like. Ooh, that's a nice success right there. That's 7.
Literally the best I could have done.
Well, without a crit.
Nice. No.
Literally every dice I could have rolled.
That. A crit would have screwed that because the chances are it would have been in a hunger dice.
Yeah.
That is perfect.
It's true.
Every single dice I rolled was a success.
Exactly.
That's great. I am so happy with that.
You are able to find that juicy little morsel that's going to do exactly as you command, because what kind of pressure do you put on this one? What does your extortion look like in this case?
We've been getting a little bit rougher.
A
little bit more conflictive. Resner's been passing me along some debts people seem to be owing to him. And I've been going to collect.
Little things here and there. Normally he wouldn't be bothered with.
No. Stuff that usually he just sends bank notice to check or something like that. Kind of worked something else out that this would be a working partnership. As it was stated before, I'm his enforcer now. People gotta pay rent, after all.
Instead of sending letters, he sends the muscle. At least for those problematic ones.
And I'm gonna take 2.
Okay. You still need to make a frenzy check.
Yeah.
Dorian, did you also take 2?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Where's my humanity at? That's at 6. What's the difficulty? Is I
difficulty 3.
2, 3.
Yep.
Oh, we're fine.
Yep. Skin of your teeth, Mr. Winters.
Oh, that one was hard.
That one was hard because
that was rough.
Because you started punching him in the face a little bit, and there was a little drop that kind of just stuck on your knuckles just a little bit longer than it should have. You had every itch to lick it before biting into your victim, but
Speaking of punching people in the face, I'd also like to hunt Alley Cat to get one more dot.
hunt alley cat, that'd be a strength brawl.
That is a strength brawl. I don't have any modifiers in that. I'm not gonna use potence.
Oh,
Reroll.
you're re-rolling 2 10s. Because you have 2 10s in your regular dice.
Two 10s and one of those failures.
Only one. So that means you have 1 there and 1 there. So that's a total of 3. It's not going to do it.
That's okay. I accept this.
Okay. Just not finding the
No
right
one else.
situations.
No.
But that is 2 hours of your night. Of possibly a maximum 8.
Yeah. I figured I might as well. Let's heal one of those damage.
Okay. Go ahead and rouse.
Regret it. I'll
And
take that.
For superficial?
That's-
Okay.
Yep. I'm happy with that.
Alright. So that's 1 superficial with no cost.
I would like to push it. One more rouse.
1 more.
One more superficial.
Alright.
I'm happy with that. We're done. We're done fucking with this.
2 superficial damage healed and no extra cost when it comes to hunger.
Oh, thank God. That's all my good rolls.
So is Shriek doing any feeding?
Absolutely.
Alright.
If only I end up keeping topped up. Still not fully healed, but we'll end up seeing how that ends up going a little bit later. So let's get to that feeding roll.
Yep.
Come on, let's do it.
Ooh, 4 will do it.
Barely, but yeah, 10 dice, 4. Yeah, sure. I'll take it.
Alright.
I am going to take 2 and do my usual scrimmage or
Rummaging through
know.
things, getting a little cash, a little bit of scrounging around for business cards of any kind, of the usual little things. The usual slip next to them, take a sip, slip out, walking away with a little extra things in your pocket that they won't miss.
You'd be amazed on how much people miss.
I lose things all the time. I wonder if it's a Nosferatu sneaking away with my things. But that does leave you all with the first 2 hours or so of your night taken into feeding and doing the myriad things that that you need to before you all might get together or go about your own separate ways. Dorian, it's not long after you've done your feeding that while you may have had thoughts about what you might get up to tonight, it seems that your chauffeur, driver, manager, club goer, Andrea, has given you a call.
I'll answer. Hello.
Sir, there's a situation.
I will be on my way. I'm assuming I need to be there in person.
Yes, please.
I'll be there momentarily. And I'll go out and I'll get in one of my faster cars.
All right. kind of speeding loudly down the Dallas highways from the Arlington domain, where your penthouse is perched right up against, to downtown, to the gray. And as soon as you get there, it is as lively as you would think for this particular type of night. It's a weekday. It's not nearly as hopping as usually on the weekends, because the weekends is when you have live DJs. Tonight is not such a night. Tonight is an ordinary weekday with people who are here with no other reason than to dance their cares away. And you find that Andrea is there at the bar. Seems to be a little frantic in making sure that the staff is doing exactly as they're supposed to when you walk up towards her. Glad you could make it, sir. It is... I don't know if this is something that we should discuss in the public ear, as loud as it is right now.
Let's go to my office.
She gives a nod and she walks with you. Her sort of black, sort of short cropped hair just kind of resting a little neatly, even though she's got a pair of glasses kind of pushed up on the top of her head. And in the club employee's uniform, she looks very well dressed, as is the clientele of this bar, of this club. You cater to those who have a little bit more money. And when the two of you enter into the office in the upstairs of the club itself, she kind of looks to you and says, "It has come to my attention that someone has let in a client who is not appropriate dress code. I've already talked to the bouncer about it, but he seems to know nothing. And I'm not entirely sure what I should do about him, because he falls under your jurisdiction." She gives you a knowing glance.
I understand. I'll go talk and find out what is going on. Thank you for letting me know, Andrea.
Of course, I don't want you to feel like I have laxed in my job.
No, you've always done well. But carry on, I'll go deal with this. Thank you for letting me know so quickly.
Thank you, sir. And she dismisses herself from the office.
And I will go looking for this person. I'll make sure that I'm as presentable as I can be. Fix my tie.
You go perusing around the dance floor, kind of looking for somebody who's out of the ordinary, who's maybe a little lackluster in dress. So I'm going to call for a wits awareness. Let's see how quickly you are able to spot him. Pretty good, pretty good.
Hmm.
Glancing around, most everyone in this club is dressed with relatively nice suits, dresses, ties, nice shirts. They look the part when it comes to your clientele, but there's one individual kind of in the corner, seems to be kind of sitting in one of the booths in the corner, chatting up some rather pretty women. But that suit, it doesn't fit him. In fact, a little bit of it looks like it's a little moth-eaten. Pants are too long. Shoes are scuffed. Tie's a little too loose. No, he's out of place. Definitely not in the right clothes. Not ones that fit him anyway. Not fit right. Not like yours. His hair's a little tousled. He looks like he's been maybe making out with some of these girls.
Would I recognize this person?
It's not anyone you've ever seen before.
Okay. I'll walk over.
Okay. You start to walk over. And what do you do or say?
How many people are with them?
Three. 3 women.
I'll walk up.
They seem rather interested in him. More than you think they should be.
I'll walk up and... Good evening. I am Dorian Resner. I own this place. I wanted to offer you ladies a seat in the VIP room with a free bottle. I'd like to have a word with this man before he joins you, though.
Way to be a buzzkill, man. I mean... And he looks to the ladies. Enjoy the free booze. I'll be up in a minute, I guess. He looks towards you. And the ladies kind of giggle and start to leave.
And I'll just wait for them to get out of earshot.
He leans
So
back
I've
in the
introduced-
booth, kind of confident, like...
I'll sit across from him. So I've introduced myself. I think that's your turn.
You're Dorian Resner. Fuck
Not
off.
what you were expecting.
Please. Dorian Resner doesn't show his face anywhere. Least of
I
all
don't
his
know
own
about
club.
that.
He's got no fucking interest in this place.
I wouldn't say that. Just because I've been busy with new ventures doesn't mean that I don't watch over my old ones.
Please. What, you got some kind of ID to prove it?
I don't need to show ID. This is my club.
You can call me 40 Hands.
40 Hands. Have I ever heard of this person?
Not a name that you know.
You know, I could put you in touch with a tailor that could make that suit actually fit you. You might look better.
Rude.
No, just a little fashion advice.
What do you want?
We keep a certain level of attire here, and my staff informed me that someone was not quite fitting in, so I decided to investigate.
I've got the jacket. I've got the slacks. I've got the button-down shirt. What more do you want?
It's not just the pieces. What I'm curious is, what are you doing here?
Same as everybody else, getting drunk.
Can I insight check this man?
Sure.
I'm basically trying to sense what he's after, his motives.
Yes, go ahead and sense his motives.
If that's not enough, I will re-roll too.
Well, it's degrees of success. So how confident are you in 4?
I want to know everything, so I'm going to re-roll.
Okay. Okay, so
So
you got 5. Obviously, he's trying to pull your leg. He doesn't believe you're who you say you are. But that's not the thing that gets you. No, what gets you is when you look at him and you really observe the clothing that he's wearing. He's a bit messy. There's a couple dots of blood on that shirt. And you swear he's looking at you with hungry eyes. A little pale. Definitely looks like... No, he's definitely not far gone enough to be old. Very curious.
I'm going to look over at the bar. As soon as Andrea's gaze meets mine, she's probably watching me. I'm going to, snap my fingers and get her attention to come over.
And she comes right over.
Andrea, I
Yes.
sent 3 women up to the VIP room. Please send up a bottle of whatever they wish, and show them a good time.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And I'm going to look back as she leaves and look back at this guy. Now tell me why you're really here, because I don't believe a thing you've said so far. The thing that's angering me right now is not that you came into my not dressed appropriately. It's the fact that I can look at you and just by telling that you're sloppy.
What?
The blood on your lapel. Everything's a little bit off. And I'm just going to start naming off things that I see.
He leans back in the booth and his arms crossed, a little defensive now. You're not gonna rat me out, are you?
I don't need to do that. But just know that you should be better. I just want the truth. And for looking the other way, we can say that maybe you owe me a small favor.
Fine. I was in the neighborhood. And I got in a fist fight. That's where the blood's from.
Anybody I know?
I don't know who you know.
Do you know who you were fighting?
No. Just
Okay.
some jerk who thought I was schmoozing on his girl. Dorian, you don't believe a word he's saying. That's a lie, too.
You know, I've been generous and patient. Who's the sheriff of this area? Or the hound of this area?
For downtown would likely actually be the sheriff, and that would be Antonio Marcelli.
You know, perhaps Mr. Marcelli would like to know about this.
You
Dangerous
just
to
said you
mess with
would
her.
fucking rat me out.
For the truth and a favor, and you're still blowing smoke up my ass.
I just told you the truth.
You
Yeah.
don't expect me to really believe that.
I got in a fist fight at a bar just up the street, and I needed a place to cool off.
Now, am I still... Is he still lying?
He seems more adamant about it this time.
Hmm.
But that's not where that blood comes from. That's a little too close to the chin.
Does it look like this was someone else's clothes?
Could have been. It's a fairly reasonable hypothesis.
Hmm.
Shirt's a
Nothing
little
about
too
you-
tight, the jacket's a little too big.
Nothing about you makes sense right now. I don't like variables.
He gets a little quieter. Look, I don't have a place to stay. And I'm a little on my wit's end. Alright? You want me to beg or some shit?
No. If you need places to stay, that can be arranged. But if you need something, you need to ask me. I can't read minds.
How was I supposed to know this isn't... The Dorian Resner of downtown doesn't exist. He doesn't show his face.
Because I'm usually in another area. And I'm going to pull out one of my business cards. And I'm going to write 2 numbers and 2 addresses on them. And I'm going to hand it to this man. The top is a number to the housing manager of a property that I've developed. Call there and sort out housing. The
I don't
bottom
have any
is my
money.
tailor. When you get money, you can sort that out yourself. When it comes to rent, there are other ways to pay.
What about feeding? I don't exactly have a place to feed.
I'll have to discuss it with the rest of my group. But we may be able to work something out. I don't think that will be a problem.
Where?
And I'll just point to the address. It's the area surrounding that.
Can't be serious. The place is already too crowded. Are you kidding? I'll get eaten alive. Literally.
That place is somewhere that I've developed, and nobody will do anything there. It is under the protection of me and my coterie.
Look, can't I promise I'll go to your tailor. Whatever needs to happen. I don't want to go there.
I don't have. I'm assuming that I don't have feeding rights here, right? Because it's someone else's domain, correct?
It's your sire's. She's given it permission to you.
Hmm.
It's your little slice of her domain, so kinda sorta you have control over what's goes on here. And you get the strange suspicion that it might have been her people that kicked out this guy at the other bar.
I can try to figure out something around here later. But for now, this is the best I can do without more work.
Look, man, I'm desperate. I'm on my wits' end. I'm on my last legs. If I go another night like this, I'm gonna flip out.
Can I read this guy and see if he's being honest now?
Based on your previous insight check, he is being honest now. Unless you're trying to determine something different.
No, I just want him.
His motive is clearly food and shelter. Look, I'll work in the kitchen. I please.
Here's what we'll do. We'll figure out a place for you here. You'll make yourself useful when you can be, and if you cause me problems, you'll find out that my benevolent side is a double-edged sword. You don't want to meet the other side of me.
Got it.
Since you have such a wonderful guest, let's go see if we can get some dinner for you tonight. And I'm going to take him up and help him feed, and to make sure everything goes good.
You walking him into the VIP room, you can tell he's incredibly embarrassed. But he tries to play it off like he's the cool cat in the room and you're the nobody. Something about him, though. Something about him just makes him seem likable. In the same way that you can sometimes make yourself very likable.
Yeah, he's definitely got it all going for him. So I can get more information on him. I'm going to keep an eye on him and have Andrea keep an eye on him.
Okay. Other than that, the rest of his visit to the club is relatively uneventful. He seems to hit it off pretty well with some of the other clientele.
Would I know what bar he probably came from?
Make me an intelligence insight. Whoa. That there is a messy crit, my friend.
Yeah, there's no point. I
There's no...
can't reroll shit.
Nope. Nope. That means that there is a compulsion that overtakes you. And maybe with good reason. One of the clubs in the area, a good portion of this area belongs to both your sire and the good father. Where did he go?
Thomas McCree.
Father McCree, yes. Father McCree has also set up shop in this area. Has kind of shown an interest in a way in the club scene, as well as the religious scene of the Dallas area, as a sort of two sides of the same coin, in a way. Maybe it was McCree that kicked him out. After all, downtown Dallas is the hot spot where everyone goes to have fun. The sights, the sounds, the clubs, the after the clubs, the confessions afterward. Is this guy a plant? This guy here on McCree's behalf? You and McCree have never really hit it off all that well. While he does have some interest in the club scene, he has a lot of disdain for the sinful pleasures of the world. But he knows when there's an opportunity, and he knows when to take advantage of it. So while he may have some moral compunctions about such things, he isn't opposed to getting his hands involved in making sure that these things continue to happen, that he continue to get patrons. Maybe he's spying. Maybe he's spying on you, spying on Liliana. After all, she only just woke up from torpor from terrible injuries at the Battle of the Alamo within the last 10 years or so. Still really gathering her feet, still really gathering her roots in this city again. Is he scared of her? Is he scared of you? What is he planning? Why did he give you side eyes at the board meeting? Maybe some of it starts to make sense, and your paranoid mind starts to run away with you. You have to get back home to the penthouse, because the penthouse is where you feel truly safe. Because you're alone there. And only when you're alone are you truly yourself.
I can let everything go.
So until you get back to the penthouse, you are at a -2 penalty to all rules that don't involve getting you there.
I will head back there.
Okay. Unless someone wants to interrupt him in going there. Like a phone call from one of his coterie mates, for instance.
I will happily remind you that I have no phone.
Or
This
Oh,
is just
look, a smoke signal in the distance.
or you could just show up at the penthouse, you know where he lives.
I could.
If you
Except
want.
I am enjoying this line. I've been enjoying listening. No, Aaron is definitely going to check in with the Hound first before checking in with Resner. So whoever wants to do that first, or we can jump to that. I don't mind.
Okay. Then
What's your
Dorian.
stance back?
Or Shriek.
Either or.
Shriek, do you have anything to do with Dorian?
At this exact moment, after feeding, I'm heading on over, but I am always at the disposal of our newest acquisitions.
Can I do one thing before I leave the club, Coffee?
Sure.
I'd like to snap a picture of this person.
Snap a picture, you do. Camera phones are everywhere.
Yep.
Well, it's not like you can't just end up pulling the photo off the security system either.
There's
right?
also the security system too, if you want to be a little bit more indirect
I'll
about
be
it.
discreet. Yeah, I'll be discreet. I'll get a screen grab from the security system.
Mr. Resner having a hard time remembering on what exactly all those dots of resources can actually let you do on a whim.
Look, I'm poor in
Yes.
real life. Sometimes it's hard to think like a rich person.
Well, maybe it's a bit of a callback because a lot of this security system is provided by one Seraph Securities, a big tech mogul in the United States of America that has roots in just about every city imaginable. And so, being that it is a very, very user-friendly system, you are able to get your screen grab at no problem. Especially because there's a very helpful individual at the security booth who may be a little too boisterous about his job as a security personnel. But you walk away with your screen grab, and are able to make your way back to the penthouse. So you will probably have spent 4 out of your 8 hours at this point just in all of that, including the time you need to spend at your penthouse before you feel comfortable leaving again.
I'm in my happy place.
You are in your happy place. In the meantime, only a couple of hours after they have initiated, after waking, Shrink and Aaron both have similar ideas as to who they're visiting. Whether they actually meet up or not, that remains to be seen. But Aaron, you're heading over to see Hound Singleton.
That I am. So here's the thing. The other night, I had a bit of a moment. Gash is dead. And he's dead as part of the group of SI folks that we happened to go ahead and decimate the other night. And I need confirmation of who the fuck did it. Because everything in my person right now is telling me that I can't just let it go. So, got a bit of a conversation to have with Mr. Singleton. Man to man. I arrive at the lots, storage units. Go ahead and knock on the door politely. Wait for him to open up.
Lights are off inside because it is past working hours, but eventually you do see him come out from behind the door in the back of the glass paned office that you see at the very front. "What is it, Winters?" he calls out.
Wanted to talk about the other night. You got a little time?
I might.
I'll make it short.
He goes ahead and goes up to the glass door that leads into the rest of this building. Ushers you in quickly. It's still relatively dark inside. Closes the door behind you and locks it, and leads you toward the back, where it's more likely that you'll remain unseen.
Thanks for the little bit of couple minutes here.
I've only got a few.
Let's not waste it then.
What about the
What
other
hap-
night?
What happened?
What do you mean, what happened?
I remember seeing you. Meeting you in there. Inside the hospital.
The place you shouldn't have been, by the way. But go on.
It's a funny sentiment. Considering the organization of that was that we were there for backup. I remember specifically that we went in. There were couple folks drilling in. I remember crushing one man's head. I don't remember much beyond that. And I need an honest answer. What happened?
I don't know if you're going to believe me or not, but that is on you. That is not my problem. You killed a man, Winters.
I'm quite sure I killed several men.
That you did.
Who?
Well, there were several individuals. There was, as far as names go, there was Adam Knightley, whom you smashed his face in quite nicely into the brick and drywall of the building. There was a Cash Jackson, whom you personally made a point of shooting square in the head unconscious. There was several others outside in the vehicle, I believe, one of which was Miss Talia Rose Abner, who was exploded in one of their vans, it looks like. Still taking that one apart to find out what the mechanism of that was that caused that. But and he goes to name off several other individuals who were involved.
Great. Alright. It's like Singleton can see he's not. At the mention of Cash, he's just not doing well. He's something that he's trying to hold inside of himself. The lights they flicker above them.
And the lights are not on, so they don't flicker.
Oh, damn it. No! My emotional turmoil indicator.
Winters.
I'll be fine. There's one more out there. Some kind of doctor. We're on it personally. Want me to bring him to you?
No, he's not important. He doesn't know anything. In fact, he really can't know anything because he was the one who didn't know something when he thought he picked up on a pattern when, well, that pattern's been debunked. So, you have nothing to worry about now. Call it a favor.
I'm not calling it a favor. Frankly, it had nothing to do with me.
I figured since I did your job for you, in that regard, that, should have been done much
You did your
earlier.
job as a hound, Singleton. Don't
And
get
you
it
said that
twisted.
you'd been on it personally about this doctor.
Under the pretenses that I assumed it wasn't done by you. The hound beat me to it. Good job, deputy. I ain't gonna question any of your efficiency on that.
Then what's got you riled up, Winters? Because frankly, I don't like what I'm seeing, and I'm locked in a room with a La Sombra.
Nothing involving you.
You sure about that?
I'm sure. What happened after I left the hospital?
It's really none of your concern. It's been handled.
I'm talking about what you saw me do.
What I saw you do. I was inside the hospital making sure that things got taken care of inside. I wasn't outside. After you shot Mr. Jackson, you left, like I'd ordered.
Okay. That's all.
And you don't recall this?
Just forgive me if I said I don't even remember shooting the poor bastard.
Judging by the look on your face. You're pissed off that I even suggested it.
Yeah, well,
Like you didn't know.
that's all I really needed, Mr. Singleton. I won't waste your time anymore tonight.
Good, because I have more digging through things that really just beg my attention. Must report everything to the authorities.
Appreciate your candor. And with that, I am going to exit.
Singleton lets you out.
He's right. Aaron's pissed that it was even suggested. Maybe before he does anything else. Takes his truck. Drives by Cash's house. He's gonna go up and to the house itself.
It's dark.
Open up. Yeah. It's gonna open up the door. It's not caring about the lock. He's just gonna break the fucking door if he has to.
You'll break the door open.
He touches the door frame for a second, so walks through it. He begins walking through the house. He goes through the living room, remembering the last conversation he had. His promise he made. How much he just didn't want to expose Cash to any of this. Continues down through the kitchen, opens the fridge, sees rotting food. Only a few days old at this point. Just leaves it in there as he closes it. He heads down the stairs. Looks at all of Cash's stuff. All the little collectibles that he had. An EMF reader, fucking video recordings after recordings, all of VHSs that he had from his years of ghost hunting. He's gonna look at the television. And in the black screen, he sees reflected his own image. The deep, dark hole. The distorted face. Not a man. Some kind of empty monster. Snarls. Boosh! Crashes into the television and just throws it across the room, shattering it.
Splatters in hundreds, thousands of pieces.
Not take this. I know fundamentally, if I was put into the eyes of this whole fucking feudal system, their little charade, their fucking games, the crack of dawn, the only thing it comes down to is I'm still just a gun. But I'm starting to wonder whether or not I ever had a right to call myself a man. If I can't even fucking protect the things I care for.
Monster.
I just crumble away at the slightest bit of scrutiny like that. This was mine. Cash was mine. And I wasn't gonna let anyone else touch him. But there is hell to pay. And I won't stop till I get it.
I'm gonna spend about an hour going through his things. I'm gonna see if he's got anything.
The things that he's collected over the years, as far as tools that may have been, amateur tools of the trade, but tools of the trade nonetheless.
Hi, Felix.
Hi, Felix. He has made himself known. But probably one of the things that you do see that that maybe catches you a little bit is he started journaling. Started journaling his own monster hunts. Most of which unsuccessful, and most of which is chasing down haunted ghost stories of the Dallas and Fort Worth area for the time being. As that was part of his mission coming down from DC. How he wished that he could have met the director. But, well, it's all in the past now. Such is the fate of a Winters. Even if he was a second cousin.
I'll go through and I'll collect the journal. Because at the end of the night, this is. It's just another fucking piece. To go in the safe. Part of history, immortalized through our family.
A Winters family almanac, in a way.
You ain't gonna be forgotten, Cash. You ain't gonna be forgotten. No matter how much they fucking try to make me.
I think that's also a good point for us to switch over to Shriek. Shriek, darling, what are you up to? You were on your way to go and see Mr. Singleton as well. But might have been a little late to catch your good friend Aaron Winters.
That's fine. After all, trying to keep tabs on the man is almost impossible in the modern age. I mean, hell, put him with a smartphone of any kind and he just, everything short circuits. Honestly, I don't even know how the spark plugs in his truck keep running, but hey, go with it. I mean, even I don't fully understand the curse that we all end up having, or how they make sense. Reality is that they're just what we gotta end up, well, I'd say live with, but, and how that would be. But I am going towards Singleton.
The walking hive, walking towards Singleton.
So, I take a look at the place. Storage unit after storage unit. I mean, it's a really nice setup. Let's be honest. Also, on the fact that he's got an underground lab in here, that's a cute one. I mean, who would have thought of that one? Keeping something in the storage locker, digging underneath it. How long has he been doing this? I see that's innovation. Everybody says, oh, it's always hiding something in a storage locker. He took it one step further.
Under the storage lockers. You arrive. You find that the main office, again, is dark. It is outside of working hours after all, and so what do you do?
So we do end up. He is there, confirmed.
Well, Aaron's seen him. You haven't seen him yet.
I go to the main office. The usual fare.
Mm-hmm.
Don't want to leave this place disgusting, roach-ridden. So I got to make these things quick. And I am trying to stay on our dear hound's good side.
Mm.
Besides, he's a little cute.
Yeah, he does have that going for him, huh?
Yeah. Privilege of the pretty, I suppose. I go into the office. Ring that little bell. Everybody know that I'm here. All I can think about is what's going on in court. What the reverberations of our little scheme just ended up causing. And hopefully some opportunities along the way. Worst case scenario, I have no problem in making an ass out of Keller time and time again. And I imagine there's been a few complications now.
Leave it to you to just break in.
Break in?
The door was locked.
Not many doors are really much more than here's a challenge. That's besides the point.
Figures. What do you want?
Well, check up on you, if first thing. You had a long day, well, night, and everything else ended up turning out peachy as far as I can tell.
I'm fine.
You don't look it. If anything, you look a little more stern than usual.
Well, I just had a meeting from your good friend Aaron Winters, so yes, I'm being interrupted twice in the same night. When I really do have work to do.
Well, I can take your mind off it if you want.
I'd rather my mind be on my work because that's actually entertaining and interesting.
Yeah, that hurts right here. But I get you got work to do. I thought I would stop by because, well, to congratulate the hero of the day first and foremost. I imagine it's been quite a splash to the higher ups to end up hearing about your success.
Well, the operation would have gone swimmingly if it wasn't for the fact that Mr. Resner and Mr. Winters ended up on the scene and then promptly leaving the scene with an exploding vehicle.
Well, did have to end up clearing that place out. Couldn't let it explode there and then, could we?
But the vehicle did explode there and then. Fernando was watching the entire thing.
I know. No, what I mean is they couldn't let it happen. Points for effort, I suppose.
You're after what I found out?
Partly. I already have some suspicions. More importantly, I want to know how it appears to the higher-ups, from your take. After all, I'm sure you've had a discussion or two with the sheriff. And I'm sure he's getting pressure from the Primogen Council, if not the prince himself. Drake thinks for a moment, knowing full well that that should, given the situation, be the understatement of the century.
Yes, well, and that's why it's very important for me to get back to work, because the sooner I find out who these people are, where they came from, and why they picked us all of a sudden out of nowhere, well, that means that we all get to sleep easier.
Oh, I can help you with that.
If it makes prying through records that I found on their vehicles much easier, then I will take the help. If you will gladly offer it.
So, do you remember those two Toreador we ended up finding not too long ago?
I've seen them around, yeah.
Yeah. Those were under Keller's supervision when they were leaving bodies all over the place. You remember that little tidbit?
Yes.
That ended up becoming a bit of an issue. We ended up handling it to the best of our abilities, and those two are becoming fun, upstanding members of court and Camarilla Justice and Affairs. Honestly, it's quite a nice little bit of work. Problem, before we got a hold of them, Keller was fine on leaving them shitting all over our lawn, which ended up getting them in a fair amount of trouble. Now, where do you think they've been reporting this entire time? Before we got there.
To Keller.
That's right. Now, Keller, as I understand it, has been doing a lot of moving about. Now, if you happen to be following the tracks and you tried to sniff them out, you would probably end up being right on the front door of a hospital now, wouldn't you? When you did that, you might notice that, strangely enough, a few ambulances are moving about town, but not with the lights on. They don't typically stop by warehouses now, do they?
For kind operations, typically, no.
Now, they couldn't figure out probably exactly who, otherwise they would have went to Keller, but they definitely smelled something. Keller may be part of the circulatory system, but understand that his domain he just got in charge of is an afterthought. He's not like you in that regard. You actually care about your job, such as you trying to get to it now, which I don't want to end up delaying you much further than I have to. But if you take a look at their records, you'll end up finding that they ended up doing a fair amount of tracking in that regard. And you might also remember the truck that we ended up bringing in. You know, you peeled apart those records too. And you'll notice that they also mentioned a bunch of dismembered corpses. Victims of a feeding kerfuffle of our two new little Toreador, because somebody wasn't informing anybody about who the newcomers were, nor presented them to the prince, nor ended up asking them for their permission. Keller kept them around as a curiosity without informing the prince. I believe that's a breach of domain, but I've already brought that up with the prince. But now it seems that little oversight has just compounded itself. So when I found out that they started snooping around in that regard, well, there was only one thing to do. And while Mr. Winters and Resner couldn't have possibly known about the full implications of it, my fear is that the Inquisition was going to end up coming in completely heavy. My fear's fully founded on the scene, as you'll surely agree.
They certainly do have government backing this particular organization.
That's right. And if that doesn't make things more complicated...
I've also heard rumors that they're involved with the Society of St. Leopold.
Now, there's a name I didn't want to hear. You know, I didn't confirm that, but it's always a suspicion. I'll prepare for the worst, right?
I think you can actually put those fears to confirm, because I did see identification on one of the individuals from the society.
Raphael, you're so tense.
When you have the FBI and the Society of St. Leopold, two of the biggest organizations in the world, mind you, regarding our little predicament, yeah, makes me testy.
I know. But that's okay. Because, to be honest, I'm a huge fan of your work. And you did your part magnificently. I am so glad I backed the right horse on this one.
You might want to watch out for your two little girls, though. Their names came up.
How so?
Does the name Project Zulu mean anything to you?
Can't say as it does.
Project Zulu actually is one of the fake kindred that was deployed in San Jose. But I did find their names in related paperwork, and I don't think that they're here on accident.
If you're right. And they must be brought to Camarilla justice. Then all I ask is a say on the removal method. Might as well end up here making wine out of all these grapes. And I think we can solve a few problems in a single stroke on this one.
Paperwork did mention the common side effect of their fake kindred is organ eating. I believe that's a problem one of yours takes into that I've had to clean up.
I think we're squared away, at least between you and me, on that one, given all the information I've been handing your way. You might not like me, Singleton, but I've been looking out for you.
I don't have to like you to work with you.
But I do like you.
That's probably because I'm an information dumping house and fountain of some kind to you, so it makes sense, given your proclivities as a Nosferatu.
There's that. Those are perks.
What else is there, really?
Well, you can't go wrong with that jawline.
Would you believe me if I told you my mother was the reason for that? Strong jaws run in the family.
That being said, what's the word in the court as far as you and our little domain and Keller's position? Because I imagine there's a few that are very upset with what has gone down, and if somebody were to put the pieces together on how it is that this all came about, and realizing, let's think for a second. If Keller knew, big if, but he's supposed to be smart, right? If Keller knew that these two are this Project Zulu that you end up describing, and he let them go doing what they did, he helped the Second Inquisition, Society of Leopold, within the prince's domain, to get them to hunt and feed in our own stock, which is already very tenuous.
And if he didn't know, it speaks highly of his incompetence, which is the aim that you've had this entire time.
No, that's not the aim I've had this entire time. It's a sweet bonus.
Well, somebody's been wanting it, because that's the rumor going around. That you and your little coterie have it out for Keller, because he's incompetent as fuck. As one, I believe, Dorian Resner has said in private.
Well, I'll pretend not to have heard that, as I think that's very much beneath Mr. Resner to end up making such a comment.
Oh, maybe I'm putting words in his mouth, but
I'm sure if it was said in confidence, in which case I appreciate the level of confidence that you have offered me. No, the reason I'm doing this, believe it or not, is to end up upholding this domain. I recognize this domain for what it is. It's the chink in the armor of our prince's near-perfect machine. And for all the resentment I could have, I'm like you. I like things predictable. I like things exactly where they're supposed to be. I like there to be no ripples in the water. And while everybody else thinks that this is a food crisis, so to speak, you and I both know different. Very few people really know the big picture. In fact, I think beyond myself, you might be able to count 2 other kindred who would understand what is really going on. And you do your job. I help you do your job. And I've never misled you yet. Because what we have going on here is very valuable.
So I
But
keep
things-
hearing everyone say.
Are they wrong?
I don't know yet.
Facts
But
and
something
figures.
is stirring here. And, well, the fact that your coterie is a new arrival, and we have a new primogen, both being relatively new elements to the pot, as it were. A lot of stirring is going on.
It is. I can't say it isn't. But, well, what other work you did? You did say that you had other work to do. What do you have in mind?
I am still going through and really organizing the information that was found. Not on the vehicle that exploded, but the other one that we captured.
Maybe I can help.
Are you good with electronics?
Well, I'm no Winters, if that's what you're asking.
No, he's absolutely terrible with electronics.
I have a little bit of knowledge. Might be able to end up helping out in a small way.
Well, unless you can do better than one of your clanmates. Kitty Fisher.
Kitty does good work. If you feel that Kitty's the best tool for the job, I will bow to your request. After all, it's not my job to end up governing this entire domain, nor is it in my purview to end up telling the Hound or the law of the Camarilla what is and is not. I simply end up going to the Camarilla's best interests. And right now, its best interests, well, near as I can tell, have not been served, save for a select few.
Yeah, Kitty has a natural knack for computers.
Wow. Is there anything else I can help clarify for you, my dear Hound?
No, I think you've been rather helpful, Mr. Shriek.
Just Shriek. We're in bed together, after all.
I don't think that's an image I wanted.
That makes one of us. You have a fantastic evening. And I hope that the rest of the evening goes a lot smoother. If you learn anything, call me.
You'll know where to find me. I'm sure you'll come knocking someday.
No, I don't knock.
Mm,
What's the
no,
fun in that?
you simply break in.
You're the storehouse. And with that, Shriek starts to walk out with that little bit of a fun little waddle. A little bit of a show. Because, say what you will about Singleton. He's a prude. He's a good-looking prude.
And I believe that is a good place for us to take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll find out what the coterie is up to next. So be right back, everybody. Welcome back, everyone, to Blood and Iron, Dead Man's Hand. Where our coterie mates had left off, Dorian had visited the Hound Singleton for a bit of an update, followed by Shriek doing more or less the same, but getting maybe a little bit more out of it. Aaron was the one who paid Singleton a visit. Dorian was managing some personal matters going on at his club, where perhaps another blood drinker was more or less begging for his assistance. But that got Dorian's mind stirring with thoughts of paranoia. And Aaron, shortly after your talk with Mr. Singleton, it only solidifies in your mind that Dorian stole something from you. You drove your truck to the condo complex. The condo complex where Dorian's penthouse sits atop. You could easily go into his garage and start trashing all of his fancy cars. Easily. All that stands between you and them is a wall. And you go through walls, right? But they're not really the subject of your ire at the moment. No, instead you walk into the building, say hello to the security guard. Security guard for the condos asks you for your name and who you're seeing. Do you answer?
I sure do. I'm here to see Mr. Resner. Dorian Resner.
Mr. Resner is in his home. I can call up to see if he's available to take company. He goes
Yeah,
to the
why
phone.
don't you tell him Aaron's here to see him?
All right. He picks up the phone. Dorian, you get a buzz on your in-home speaker from downstairs. Mr. Resner,
Yes, what is it?
there's an Aaron here to see you.
Okay, send him up.
Okay. And the line to your buzzer goes dead. Aaron, you see that the man goes and says to you, top floor of the elevator.
Thanks. I'm gonna make my way to the elevator, hit the top floor button. I feel like I can't hear anything, even though the elevator music is playing casually. There's not a lot going on in my head. I notice the elevator lights flicker for half a moment.
Almost threatens
But
to
I'm-
stall on you. But doesn't.
Doors almost don't open. I grip them, pry it, step on out. I saunter over to the door.
Very tiny hallway for a singular door on this floor.
probably walk over, putting my jacket on, buttoning it up, and open the door.
Thankfully, Dorian, the rest of your staff has all gone home for the night.
Yes. With where my mind was, I made sure everybody went home. I didn't want to be around anybody. But I'm feeling better now. And I'll just give a small smile. Mr. Winters, please come in. And I'll step to the side.
Thanks, Mr. Resner. Entering in, I close the door behind me. And walk through and peer through this penthouse. I'm just kind of admiring it. Sure do live in opulence, don't you?
Some things I like, and some things are just for show.
Yeah. What parts of it are just for show?
The high-end furniture. And I'll point over to, like, kind of like an old beat-up leather chair. That I've had for a long time is my favorite place to sit. And he'll, like, walk around pointing, like, at different pieces of, like, art and little things, like, these are things that I actually care about. The rest is just high-end, going on about bullshit.
He takes his hat off and just kind of inspects it. Huh. Some things just for show. Puts the hat on the coat hanger. Rubs his fingers together. Actually, I had a bit of a question.
If I can answer it, I will.
The other night, I've been having a bit of a predicament. As you know, I've been pretty vocal about what happened that night at the hospital.
Yes.
At least between us. Something's been bugging me. I haven't been able to remember much. I just need good breakdown of everything that happened from the point that we entered the hospital to exiting.
Well, when we met up, we started creeping through. We found a couple of the SI trying to gain entry, and you ended up taking them out quite handedly. Not long after, Mr. Singleton showed up and wanted us gone because we weren't supposed to be there. After we left, I thought it might be a good idea to maybe gain some intel by going inside one of the trucks. You ended up helping me gain entry to that, and I almost got you killed. And then you saved my life by throwing me through the windshield before it blew up.
The folks that were in the hospital. Was there anything unusual that happened there? How many?
How many did he end up killing? Was
2.
it 2 or 3? You killed 3 in total that night.
How many were in the hospital?
2 were at the door. The third was the lady outside.
All right. Did Mr. Singleton say anything before he had us leave?
He was going to finish the one we were interrogating, but you wanted to
Interrogating.
yes, we were asking him questions. You wanted to take care of it yourself, though.
Huh. I did, didn't I?
I should have tried to help. That way you weren't the only ones that got your hands dirty that night.
So why the hell is it, Mr. Resner? Why the hell is it that I don't remember jack fucking shit about any of that the moment that we were outside? The only person that was there after we exited all of that was you. Mr. Singleton stayed inside.
Well, sometimes your mind protects itself. Maybe
Don't
it's
give me
something you don't
that
wanna-
shit. Don't you fucking give me that shit. My mind protects myself. Do I look like a fucking Malkavian to you?
No. Ask me what you want to know. And I will be truthful. But make sure you really want to know.
Did you take my memory that night?
Yes, I did.
Why?
Do you really want to know?
Motherfucker, I would not be here.
Dorian's gonna sigh and close his eyes and take a deep breath. And then he's gonna look at you. Because you knew the person that you killed. And the look on your face when we left, I didn't want you to have to remember what you did.
I don't fucking remember.
The lights are starting to buzz and flicker.
Mr. Risner, do you even understand what you have done?
I tried to save a good man from remembering doing a bad thing.
You stole the last moments I had with my friend from me. You stole the last minutes, the last words I had from him. You fucking took them from me.
You're right.
What gives you the fucking right?
They say the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Like I said, I didn't want to see a good man have to remember that.
Aaron, roll a Fury Frenzy.
Yeah, damn straight. I'm sad. um. Oh God, what is my willpower? It's wank.
Seeing this, can I pop my fortitude power?
That's a 2.
Like seeing that he's about to lose it.
Oh, you've been aware that he's going to lose it for a while. You can definitely pop out your fortitude.
Okay. I'm
Coffee.
definitely going to do that.
That's a 2.
Do you think that a 2 would be a success?
I think Aaron wants to beat his ass as much as the beast.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Your Fury Frenzy, roll a Strength Athletics, or Strength Brawl.
Strength brawl. Very important discretion. Browse for potence.
The beast wants him dead.
All right. We're on prowess.
Mm-hmm.
Roll Strength Brawl.
Oh, Jesus. I'm sorry ahead of time. You're gonna go out a fucking window, and that's scary. Whew.
Ooh, that's juicy. That's 7. Dorian, what are you choosing to do? Are you dodging, or are you standing your ground?
I'm just going to stand my ground.
Then I would like you to make me a... Let's see, what would be an appropriate role for this?
Maybe composure athletics? I don't know.
I'm going to say Stamina Resolve.
Stamina resolve. Okay, that works.
You're just like, I don't want him to die. Stamina resolve makes sense, though.
Ooh. So that is going to be 6 damage, reduced by how many dots in Fortitude?
2, so down to 4. And
Down to
then
4, half to 2. Yep.
Okay. That's prowess. Does that?
That already...
No, that's not.
Your dice pool
That's
already
not activated.
includes... Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, your dice pool is already going to include the damage rolled. So, Aaron, what does this look like from your perspective? Doing a hell of a lot of damage, but he's soaking a lot of it too.
The lights flicker, and suddenly all of them just shatter in straight rows all the way through the apartment as Aaron lunges at Dorian, grabs him by the neck, and throws him to the ground, his head cracking into the tile floor, causing it to shatter around him. He's not dead. Well, he's dead, but he's not, you know.
This would normally kill a person.
Oh, it would kill a person dead.
It
That would
would.
have, like, splattered
A
someone.
mortal would have been splattered, but Dorian is not. His head has not hit that floor nearly enough times. Roll it again.
You're just gonna let this man beat you?
Yeah.
You can do something.
Dorian, are you dodging or are you fighting back?
You can try and make him stop with a compel.
Eh,
Or
I don't have compel. I have mesmerize, and I am
Or
not going to have enough
mesmerize.
time. I don't have enough time to lock eyes with you, do I? That's not.
well, not
that
on the
takes, like,
first roll, but
quiet.
any subsequent roll, we're right next to each other.
in this
I'm just
particular
letting you
moment, you're
know.
definitely in very close combat.
I'm just letting you know because I don't know when that, unless something changes, I don't know when that frenzy. I'm gonna be able to re-roll that frenzy.
You can re-roll it
No.
and once per turn.
Oh, I can. All right.
I'm not. I'm just going to try to brace myself.
So you can reroll your frenzy. If you succeed, then you can negate your brawl attack if you like.
All right. I would assume that it would probably be difficulty 3.
Go for it.
Jesus. Here we go again.
All right.
All
I'm
right.
just going to brace myself again.
Okay.
Same roll.
Stamina resolve. Okay.
That's not bad.
So that's 4. Minus 3, so reduced to 1. Aaron, smashing his head against the floor is not doing nearly enough as much as you want. You want him gone. You want him dead. You want him hanging out in the sunlight for when it comes up.
I want him to go to oblivion.
I'm just going to look up at him. I'm sorry I took that from you. Well, I'm sorry you don't remember it. But I thought it was best.
All
I
for
might
show.
have been wrong.
All for show. The hat, the jacket, the apologies.
Aaron, are you riding the wave? Or are you trying to resist your frenzy again?
He's got to resist it because he can't kill him.
Roll your frenzy.
I will mention that if I don't manage to get the 3, then he's definitely going to end up pulling in the Oblivion power. Okay, we're fine.
It's almost
That's
like
not for show. Oh, sorry.
it's almost like the blackness of the room starts to gather in your hand for a moment as you're getting ready to just crush his skull into the floor again. You think maybe some of the underlying floorboards are starting to give away, but you come to your own senses, Aaron. You take control back from your beast. It felt really good to smash his skull into the floor. So maybe you give him another good jolt on the floor.
Yeah. Just for the shits and giggles, in full control now, he's gonna just actually punch him.
Okay. I will give you a choice. Do you want to roll it, or do you want to issue just 1 flat damage?
Issue 1 flat damage, because that's funny as fuck to me.
1 flat superficial damage.
Yep.
Just like after like slamming his head over and over and over and over, and the darkness crawling through his arm, about to just fucking crush his skull from the inside out. Aaron pulls himself back and just grabs him by his collar and just, fuck you. He's just gonna drop him, get up, start striding out.
Out of the penthouse or deeper into the penthouse?
Out of the penthouse.
Out of the penthouse towards the elevator.
He leaves the hat. He throws the jacket off. He doesn't want any of it.
Dorian, your head's a little smashed in the back of your head with some vitae slowly oozing down the back of your neck. That stings. That stings a lot. But it could have been worse.
Yep. I'm gonna rouse to heal a little bit just so I can actually go outside. Try to do some of the superficial stuff. See how far I can get.
Okay.
Just one.
Okay. Your skull takes its shape once more. Your hair's not perfect, and your vitae still soaks your hair a little bit. Your brain matter still feels a little sloshy on the inside, but at least you're whole on the outside.
I'll walk over and pick up the jacket and fold it nicely and hang it on the next to the hat. And start shedding some of my clothes, heading to clean up in the shower.
Okay. What are some of the thoughts going through your head, Dorian, as this man could have killed you? You know that much for sure based on the strength behind him.
He could have.
You might
I
have
could
let
have
him.
resisted more. I can understand why he's angry. But he has it wrong. What that wasn't just for show. But, like I said, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Doesn't matter why I did it. I did do it. And that's a great sin upon him, in his mind.
Aaron, you're in the elevator, waiting patiently for it to go back down to the bottom floor.
Is there a fire exit, actually?
Sure. You get off on one of the other floors and take a fire exit.
Okay, good, because I don't think the elevator's gonna last the whole ride.
Certainly. There's stairs and a fire exit, so your choice.
He steps down each and every stair with meticulous speed, just striding as fast as he can, and somewhere along the line, across maybe like 20 floors, begins to slow down a bit. He stops in the middle of the stairwell. There's a tightness in his chest. Anger. Every aspect of him is screaming, go back and fucking ruin him.
Destroy him. He deserves it. He deserves to fucking die.
He just stops. Holds his head. Pulls it back.
He might as well have killed Cash himself.
He wants to scream and cry. The fucked up thing is that more so than the fact that Aaron killed Cash with his own hands, that Cash's body is being puppeted like a fucking toy. Despite the fact that there's no fucking dignity in Cash left. That everything of his will be used to further this vampiric fucking agenda. Aaron just feels disgust with himself because the thing that pisses him off and makes him so upset right now is nothing about Cash. It's the fact that Reznor had the nerve to put that leash on him. And he can't fucking stand it. The only thing in his mind that he thinks could possibly hurt him worse has now been buried deep inside. Just takes the metal railing, gripping it in hand, and unconsciously it begins to decay, and the metal distorts and twists and rusts from the darkness just moving through him. He lets it go. For now, Resner, you take something from me, I will fucking take something from you. Mark my words. Against everything in his being, pulls himself away and continues down the stairs and exits the building.
Aaron makes his way off into the rest of his evening, possibly making plans on how to make Dorian pay. Pay dearly for what he's done to Aaron Winters. Vampire Hunter. Shriek. My good friend, what are you currently doing in this very moment?
Well, at this exact moment, I am, for once, not needing to run around. So, I figure I'd enjoy my night. And so I am, probably while this is all going on, and I'm going to end up enjoying myself another meal. Because at this point, I haven't actually had the opportunity to end up healing. And for once, I'm not running around by the skin of my teeth. I'm kind of enjoying this night era, enjoying this evening. Everything went off almost without a hitch. Though I am currently thinking about the implications. Project Zulu. The twins. I'm trying to end up keeping my mind off it, really. Though I am also trying to end up making plans and contingencies just in case. It's nice having a hound you can work with. But I don't have a guarantee that I can end up swinging the Camarilla's justice in the way that most benefits me in the domain of Arlington. So I need to think on how to change that. But that also means I gotta end up making sure I am fresh, rested, and altogether put back together. Which is difficult, as if you end up lifting my shirt a bit, you might notice that a few ribs aren't quite where they're supposed to be. A skin growing over cavities of missing internal tissues. Internal organs still reduced to gelatin. Thankfully, I don't need any of those to end up going, otherwise my pancreas would end up probably exploding or just leaking out and causing all kinds of uncomfortable internal bleeding. Small blessings of a lack of blood pressure. So, time to get that all sorted. And I'm sure nothing, after everything that's gone down, I am sure this evening is going to be calm, enjoyable, and not the slightest bit of drama to be found amongst the whole of the domain. As everybody would probably just be better off relaxing, enjoying a night at a club, or end up going out in the truck and just driving about, enjoying the nice and windy air, or maybe just sitting in your office managing the bookstore you end up running. Hell, construction projects going about, investigations into blood banks. The dear doctor's not going anywhere. So what could possibly go wrong tonight? I think it's a good time to just enjoy the finer people. Those with good taste.
There's certainly a number of them in this domain, and you said that you wanted to grab another little snack, so just roll me a little feeding roll, would you?
Okay. Looking for 4. Did I Derek dice it? I Derek diced it.
That is 3.
I am going to willpower.
Okay.
10 dice, I still can't make 4 successes.
Ooh,
That'll
that brings
work.
it to 5.
And
work.
I am going to heal one of my aggravated while I am feeding. Because I'm at 1 hunger, so I can't drop it anymore. But I can heal while feeding. Especially given my typical proclivities where I'm more latched on to it for almost a half hour. Just kind of like an IV unit, but in reverse.
Yep.
So,
Roll your rouses.
2, 3. Oh, I'm only
No.
going to need to take 1.
Only need 1.
I'm almost whole. Oh, that's delicious. It's really good. That's the best when it leaves you cooing.
It does feel nice to feel relatively solid again.
Yeah, I almost had my back straightened out. Shame it wasn't blown out in more fun ways, but hey, you know.
You win some, you lose some. Would you make your way out of your little snacks home about half an hour to an hour later? They're still asleep. You're licking your lips in satisfaction and making your way about the rest of your evening. Maybe even going to go and visit your home where your little raccoon friend has gotten plump on all of the vermin that you've drawn to your apartment.
Forget the sugar glider.
And the sugar glider. Sugar glider tends to keep itself a little nestled inside one of your little crevices.
You have any idea on how hard it is when you end up having a perpetual fucking roommate?
In your own intestines, no less. Crawling around in there. But as you're making your way, there is a figure that stands at the end of the road. A slumped over, hunched figure. It's a very, very large hunchback for anyone who hasn't had a back correction in the last century.
And I just ate. Wow. Definitely will end up walking by this little bit of takeout. Check my lips as I'm trying not to leave any traces, but well, my lips haven't been this red since. Let's not discuss the details.
And as you're walking by this person, they just say to you, Shriek. It's been a while.
You're a sheriff. So good to see you. What brings you out into Arlington? I'm afraid we don't get to end up basking in your presence too frequently.
That's what I have Raphael here for.
Well, we try. However, might I be of service to the court?
You already have, rumor has it.
Ooh, rumors. I love rumors. Do tell.
Raphael says that you were pretty instrumental in getting the Second Inquisition raid to fail.
I only do what is best for my prince and his domain. And besides, who else was gonna do it?
And I also heard Fernando had a hand in keeping an eye on things too.
He's a distant cousin,
Hmm.
and I didn't live
Very
his looks.
distant cousin.
But despite his quality of blood being lacking, he still, at least surface of, in the eyes of the uneducated, serves as an example of the Nosferatu. It was best to end up giving him an opportunity to clear the books and clear the air. Especially after rumors going about. Such ungodly rumors. Wanted to end up making sure that he paid his debt and maintained in the good graces of the Camarilla. After all, when anyone sees a Nosferatu, I'm sure they're reminded of their dearest prince.
Of course, of course.
Unfortunately, I don't share the complexion, so I get mistaken for all kinds of things. It makes me feel a little disrespected, but slings and arrows I end up bearing. All for the good graces of the Arlington domain.
Yes, you've definitely educated yourself on the platitudes of the goings-on of court and all of those sorts of things. I'm speaking to you as a Nosferatu. Kidding. You have made it very clear. In fact, your whole coterie, Mr. Dorian Resner included, have made it very clear that Ian Keller is not fit for this domain. Why would you come to that conclusion, I wonder? As kin, your information is valuable.
Tell me. Has the prince ever had you keep an eye on that little warehouse where everything ended up going down?
I'm aware vaguely of its function.
And its importance.
Mostly of its importance and how it is definitely very important in this domain. In fact, I won't lie to you. I do know its full function.
And knowing its full function. Mr. Keller is, I'm sure, capable of maintaining a firm stock required for the rest of the city and it true to its purpose. Of that, I have absolutely no doubt. But asking him
course.
to split his attention between that and a domain that is, how can I politely say this? Is constantly at the verge of falling apart between a lack of feeding, the natural troublemakers, those suspected of anarch rebellion, those who are suspected of being involved with Second Inquisition, those who are suspected of having traitorous and treasonous thoughts, and those who are just unfit. Corn.
So why not let it rot?
Because it's my prince's domain. And for as unsightly as we may come across, this city belongs to the Nosferatu. And as such, this city is how we will be judged. And there have, since the fall of so many anarch-free states I'm hearing of, I don't want to give them a moment's reprieve. I don't want to give them a chance. A purge, again, would end up showcasing to the rest of the world a level of incompetence upon our prince. You couldn't get the job right the first time, so you had to do it a second, and then a third, and then a fourth. I wouldn't have that kind of reputation for the Nosferatu. We're precise. We whisper, we listen to shadows, we're always listening.
Shadows have definitely spoken a lot about you. And how
So
you involved yourself in the purge the last time around. You wouldn't want that to negatively affect your own reputation, of course, not just our prince's, because you wouldn't have gotten your job done right correctly in the first place, would you?
And so everybody's best interests are aligned. Isn't that how it should be?
I would suppose so.
And as family. The Second Inquisition problem concerns us all.
Of course it does.
I have no doubt. But the fact that our sheriff, nay, our hound appointed by your hand, if I recall, was fortuitous enough to end up stopping the Second Inquisition, saving the assets of both the circulatory system from a caretaker who was incapable of maintaining it without outside interference, and worse, didn't even have the wherewithal to end up knowing it was coming, while also not having the wherewithal to request for aid. He is a primogen, with the command of, by the prince's decree, everything in Arlington. And are you to tell me, with an entire group, thin blood or not, he wasn't able to secure a single warehouse, far less an entire domain? Worse still, his attention's divided, and he spends more time hassling nuns than he did to actually being aware of what is to come. It's said
I did hear about that altercation.
It's said that the Malkavians are granted great clarity and visions of the future, but he didn't see that coming. No, it was left to a neonate to put all the pieces together and angle everything without decreeing it to the Camarilla. I haven't gone to court and claimed any form of, well, assistance or otherwise. Those who know, know. Those who don't are left in the dark.
Though I did hear that Dorian Ressner showed up at the board regarding that person, that hospital, and, well, created his own smear campaign against Keller as well.
Well, the Ventru are sticklers for ousting ineptitude. They got an
Indeed.
image to maintain like we do. So, I ask you, dear Sheriff, what is it that I can end up assisting you with? As family. Because you came to me to confirm a few things. I'm hoping that's been useful.
Very, very much indeed.
But you wouldn't be coming to find me out here when you can summon me. So that's telling me this is to be secretive. So,
Well, I would have otherwise convinced you to come down to the Warrens, but I certainly don't want a rat infestation again.
that's right.
You understand.
I do. I do. Because I have to be... That's the hilarious part when you really think about it. Looking as you do, bearing your curse so well, you can at the very least observe and not be a walking catastrophe. I, on the other hand, can walk into nightclubs, enjoy my evening, and then leave the place maggot infested, leaving a small trail. So it's best for me to typically stay in streets like this, where such things are not out of the question. They're just taken as a given.
Well,
Since I have to stay territorial and bound to the locations that people don't want to be, well, it's best I settle in for the long haul, don't you think?
Indeed. What I need from you is simply to state your case in court. The next Elysium will be in 2 weeks. Hopefully that is enough time to prepare your statements for the prince.
And what would the prince wish to hear?
Whom you would want to elect as your primogen.
Well, there's a very interesting case.
Very rarely is a power vacuum in the Primogen Council left open for very long.
True.
And I don't want to see some incompetence from a neonate. No neonate is ready for the primogenship, even though the dead man's hand did bumble through it for the time being.
Bumble we did, but we got the results. I understand your concern. And I think I can already give you my answer.
Oh,
But I'm not sure on how it would work out politically. So I'm going to end up considering it. But if I were to offer you some insight, You do not want this domain to be out of control. You want it to be controlled, and you want it to be done in such a way that gives the prince a vision of magnanimous virtue, while also being one that ends up offering you plausible deniability, while also giving you a leash to end up operating with. There's only one that can do that, who offers both salvation and damnation in a single entity.
Curious who you think that might be.
Sister Charity.
Sister Charity.
Think of it.
This is Macy.
Specifically because she is Macy. Sister Charity has made it a point to end up coming across as a nun and plays very strongly into it. In her capabilities, she has to end up maintaining at the very least, the perception of her being magnanimous. That offers you.
Given her history, it's an obvious farce, but maybe not to all.
And even if that's not the case, there's also the idea of the Zamisi, who are very strict about their rules and what goes on.
Territorial fuckers.
An advantage that can be leveraged. Lastly, they're not a political climber. They don't have a want to end up conquering further domains. They just rather sit in their own little domicile. As another note, it means you have someone who the Thin Bloods can rally around. They're less likely to kick up a noise if they feel that their primogen is one of them, not levitating above them. And with the Scourge's attempt on his Sister Charity, it then ends up putting them to feel a certain kinship with the Zamisi, allowing a calmer tempers.
Also heard you got in the way of that one, by the way.
Would you like to end up hearing the platitudes, or would you like to hear the truth?
I just find it very interesting. Ballsy. Stupid.
I don't need the title of primogen. I just need the capability of shifting the wind. And I can do that with or without title, as earlier demonstrated. Keller feels the need to spite me at every turn, fight me at every corner, not inform me as to what is going on, nor what he wanted to dump into my domain when it was mine. Thought very little of it.
Thinks very little of you. That much he's made very clear as well.
And as such, he ends up showcasing his incompetence. Look at what I've managed to rot with no title, no official capacity. Wrangling in all of these gnats like a web made of my own luscious hair. This is what I can do without recognition. Give me a primogen I can work with. Give me a primogen who, if not He has the love, at least the fear and respect of those within. And I will end up making Arlington into something even the prince couldn't imagine.
Made out of misfits and mud.
You'd be amazed on what you can do with misfits and mud if they're just shown away.
Very interesting thought. She's young. She's not exactly the Ancilla.
Most Ancilla that we would end up having an opportunity for would end up being already outside of this, showcasing a point of failure, or are already in so deep with very little choice. Who would you have, Gerard Norris?
The Canadian?
Or perhaps I would end up suggesting perhaps, Celia Hart. Please. Jade Kaufman.
Jade
The list
Kaufman
is
is a useless
surprisingly
anarch.
The list is surprisingly short. Now, the only one that makes sense, that is not a member of my coterie, as you've already rejected that answer, is Sister Charity. Sister Charity has the capability of bringing it all together.
With help, of course.
Making me a leash around her neck to end up keeping her in line.
An interesting proposition, nonetheless.
And now Keller can go back to looking after his circulatory system. Unimpeded. If that's what the prince wants. Truthfully. I'd rather just see him dragged across the concrete come sunrise for the disrespect that he gave my coterie and dropping a pair of well, let's just say that the roses are still in the garden for now. But the amount of shit they had to grow up out of, that shouldn't have been put into a paper bag and set on fire on my porch, should it?
No, they probably should have been taken out back and hanged in the sun the first time we saw them.
Well, if anything in the court becomes untowards and sentences carried out, I already have a executioner in mind. We need to end up feeding the loyal members of the Camarilla that are among here, the ones that showcase that loyalty and aren't stupid enough to just fall in line with yes sir, no sir, but be proactive to actually understand the issues at hand. There's very few and far between, but their blood, along with the thin blood population we have in here, I'm sure we can wrestle up a few who would need a come up. I've been keeping an eye out.
As dubious as such a thing would be, all of which to consider.
it gets you your execution if it's required, and also ends up serving the benefit of raising a thin blood beyond their station, showcasing the magnanimity of our dearest prince.
Hmm.
The prince gets to kill a traitor and solidify his authority and his image amongst the still scarred remnants of our dearest Arlington. It's the smart play, but it's not my call.
Nor is it mine, really. 100%.
But you are sheriff.
I am sheriff.
You are his. You are the agent of the Camarilla's justice.
Indeed.
I simply wish to end up showcasing a method to the court that might be useful. After all,
It wouldn't be
There's
the
a difference.
first time.
there is a difference between justice and payback. And the prince showcasing his wisdom to end up knowing the difference, I think would go a long way. But that's ramblings of a neon hate beyond his station.
We're simply talking as kidding. All of which is something to consider. Your input has been noted.
I'll also give you this. Jade Kaufman has been looking into blood banks. She's keeping, I believe she's going to try and end up staying ahead of the curve. I may have nudged her in that direction once I realized what she was at, but it ends up keeping her occupied. But if there's implications, I don't want it coming up as a surprise for you, my dearest share.
I'm well aware of her loyalties to her sire.
But she is on another leash, another tether. And if everything goes accordingly, well, one doth dare to dream. I am, on the other hand, absolutely tickled by this visit.
It was a pleasure, cousin.
The Shriek does a mild curtsy.
Take care until the next Elysium. He says as he starts to walk away.
I will. And as I'm walking away, I sway and dance, almost like I've gone mad. Oh, the plans, the plans. It's all coming together. Now is a wonderful night to be dead.
I believe that is where we are going to call our session for tonight.
Oh. I was hoping to get one more scene in. I can wait till next week.
Oh. Okay.
I wanted to call Shriek.
Oh. Well,
Let's do it.
We'll pick up.
We got time.
We got time. Well, sort of. I should get to bed soon.
We can. I'll make notes in Coterie chat so that I don't forget, and we can do it next week.
Make
Okay.
note of it, and we'll call it. We'll pick up there next time.
No
Okay.
new night or new night?
It will be you will have maybe a couple hours left in the same night.
That's acceptable.
Okay, we'll pick up there next time.
Mhm.
Until then, thank you, Maddie, for all of the raiders that you gone and brought us today.
Yes, thank you, everyone.
Yes, thank you, guys. You guys were great. And to my cast, because you all are fantastic. Wonderful job tonight. Thank you so much. I appreciate
Got
it.
emotional.
All the emotions and drama and politicizing. Let's go. Everybody got what they wanted, basically. In tonight's session, more or less.
God, I met my desire. I talked to the hound. That was good.
You did. Good. Good to hear.
Yay! I restore willpower now, so I can stop frenzying on people.
Woo!
Woo!
Well, again, thank you to my cast for being such lovely individuals, for playing in tonight's game of Blood and Iron, Dead Man's Hand. And so, let's talk about some experience.
Yes.
So much like Derek does in his Vampire the Masquerade games, I have also stolen a similar experience dishing out for all of my cast members. So everybody gets one for showing up today.
Hooray!
Woo!
Yay!
But then we talk about some roleplay prompts. Roleplay prompts that include who moved our plot, who had the best scene, who had the best line, and also whomst amongst these wonderful cast members did the audience enjoy the most. Now, if you just got here from Maddie's raid, still vote, because we have the images of the characters on the screen as well as their clan symbols, so you can vote purely on the look of the character, and that'd be just as perfectly acceptable. That is 100% a viable reason to vote. So get to voting, everyone. But who moved our plot today?
Shriek.
What?
Shriek.
Even with all the
Shriek.
personal plot stuff going on today too?
Shriek is set. I just watched Shriek in 2 different scenes set every fucking domino for the rest of this goddamn game.
Yeah, pretty much.
I have to just acknowledge it at this point.
Yeah.
Like this
Evil
is our
masterminder.
thing.
Bane, you can absolutely vote based on Derek's snark level.
Oh, honey.
His inner sassy gay is showing.
Kind of funny that he's the one that has that showing. Ugh.
Well, that's a vote for
Look,
Shriek.
let's be real here, okay? This is probably the only set of people I could get away with this kind of character.
Look, and it's fucking fabulous because we're all sassy gays on the inside. So
It's true.
The token straight guy is the one who's got to do it. Okay.
Well, let's be honest. You made an interesting character that happens to be gay, not an interesting gay character.
That's how it's done.
that's how it's done. Let's go. But that I did hear is a vote for Shriek. Derek
yeah.
seems shocked
Yeah,
because he was
Shriek.
thinking somebody else. Who were you thinking?
I was thinking Resner.
Oh,
Okay, so let's break it down. Okay. At the very start, we get a little bit of personal plot that is going about that potentially has court-wide implications. All right. The second portion of it is he ends up being the key point to end up helping to push Winter's plot further, and it developed into like who it gets my handed best scene, which is for Winters. So that whole setup and payoff was entirely in his hands, and I'd see that rewarded.
solid argument. What you think, fat guy?
God damn it.
He's torn.
You're the breaker.
I must
You're the break-
break you. Oh, shit. Hold on.
No. I want you to think this one through. I want you to make a decision.
Make
Do
a
not leave
decision,
this up to the
Ventru.
dice. The dice fuck everything.
Make a decision, Ventru.
Make the decision, Ventru.
There is definitely some decision paralysis going on right now.
I'm going to give it to Derek.
Okay.
Because, like, the implications of what he is, like, he's playing around with is much bigger in the pond, I think.
All right, so you're
Definitely.
going for scope rather than focus. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
All right.
It's 2-1. I can't argue it.
Drink it is. Best scene? I know Derek's, because that's going to Aaron.
That's going to Winters. That's going to
Yeah.
Winters. My heart fucking broke, and I love that intensity. I don't get to play into that intensity too frequently, especially how late these games go, and I don't want to wake anybody up. But yeah, that was phenomenal.
Well, Shriek, you got the audience's favorite, so.
I'm sexy, and I know it.
Shriek is the audience favorite, but I think that's unanimous that Aaron was the best scene.
Thank you.
Yeah. All I have to say is, shut up, bitch.
Slut!
Not you. I'm talking to Raven. She knows
Oh.
who I'm talking to.
Oh, God.
Oh.
Well, it's okay. I will accept.
Daddy,
will
I thought
also
you were
accept
talking
it.
dirty to me.
We can do that later, sweetie.
Gay. Best line.
The road to hell is paved with good intentions.
I'll go behind that. Yeah.
Solid.
All right, there we go then. I'm not.
Unless you
it's
can
two
argue
goes
a
right
better
away,
one.
right out of the gate. No.
Okay. Well, Dorian it is again.
You deserve an experience after getting your fucking face beat in.
He did nearly knock the floors out in that entryway into the penthouse.
No, Coffee, I don't think you understand. He would have just fucking chucked him out the window again. If it kept going on.
Defenestration!
Let's ease around 20 floors, bitch!
Out the 25th floor!
I believe I can fly.
You certainly touched the sky.
Going out the window at floor 25.
Saves. First time he went out a window, it saved his unlife. Second time he went out a window, it definitely fucking killed him.
Or at least tortured him till the sun came up where he go to ash. But that didn't happen.
It was.
That's an
going
alternate
to be-
reality.
If I didn't save when I did, it was gonna get a hell of a lot messy because that discipline causes aggravated damage.
Yeah.
So.
You do.
On an unrelated note here, Coffee, you might want to end up checking the code over here.
Oh. Whoa. Yes. That's what happens, Mox. When you're not here. When you're not here, shit happens.
Sorry, Aaron didn't kill me much. Just almost. He just almost did.
Well, speaking of which, since we are recording this for YouTube, and the Twitch VOD's not going to be in bits and pieces like it has been all of last week, you can watch the whole VOD on YouTube and on Twitch this week. So, so yeah, thank you guys so much for playing in my game and being awesome players and being the best thing that's happened to this channel since sliced bread. Yeah.
You just keep inviting us back. That's your problem.
Yeah.
Bro, y'all keep coming back from my
Also, I
emotional
gotta
damage.
I gotta thank the shared chat for reminding me what day it was. I don't know why I thought today was Tuesday. I don't know why.
Bro, I was kind of thinking today was Tuesday because it was my second day of the work week, but nah, it's Wednesday, my dudes.
I feel like I slept through a day, and I'm like, okay, what's going on?
Right. Yep, but thank you guys for being awesome cast members. Thank you out in the audience for watching, and for those who rated in with Maddie for watching. For the brief time that you have been with us, you should absolutely watch the rest of this VOD when it goes up. So check that out, both on YouTube and here on Twitch. And if you're not watching live on Twitch, what are you doing? You should be following on Twitch, because we do this live and I interact with some of the chat sometimes after the game is done. But yeah, there's lots of stuff that we're hoping to bring down for, well, I'm hoping that we can implement for chat to get more involved, and we'll see what happens with that. I want you guys to be able to interact with the show. So, with that being said, we have places to go, people to see, beds to sleep in. So, say goodnight, everybody.
Good night.
It was just a prank, bro.
You're a monster.